really like, I'm sure we've had this discussion before, but I'm sure Sister Madley.
Oh yeah, it was Sister Madley with the guitar solo from Mr. Richard Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which it's funny because when you hear the version, you hear the Sydney Farewell.
Oh, the Farewell to the World. Yeah, they just do the
and they goof around. It's like the goofiest song.
Yeah.
But when you hear on the album, it's like, it's just like this like dark kind of jazzy track.
Yeah.
But when they play it, like they even have like that interstitial in the bridge where they just goof around. And,
they do. Well, where they if you have to have the DVD version of it because that's where Neil Finn asks Paul Hester to do his Tina Turner impersonation one more time, and that's the point of the song where he asks him to do it. But I think Temple of Low Men might actually be my favorite of their albums, even though there's a lot of great songs on later albums and the first one, of course. But they had that weird kind of career where they hit big in America first. Yeah, and then Temple of Low Men came out, and it didn't take off. It did, like, I think the biggest charting single from that was "Better Be Home Soon," which is a great fucking song.
That's such a good song.
Yeah, I love to play that song too. It's just it sounds just gorgeous on acoustic.
And I know we've discussed Ever doing "Icy Red" on the Walls Collide.
Yeah.
I just love when he does the bridge and he just goes. Yeah,
well, and seeing Tim Finn strut through there and do his like discordant piano solo.
Oh, see, I've never seen the DVDs of this.
Okay,
I've only listened to the albums. Gotcha. I caught the Sister Madley on YouTube because I always wanted to know, like, what is he doing his Tina Turner impression? Because you always hear it like,
yeah,
Paul, can you do Tina one more time?
Yes. With your horrible New Zealand accent. Now Neil Finn will never be on the show.
Oh, are you recording?
Of course I'm recording.
Of course.
We started talking about Crowded House. I got confused for a minute and thought this might be Album Infinitum, and then no, just kidding. But I really do want to cover Crowded House at some point. I have a feeling that one will be really easy to fill up.
Mm-hmm. That'd be one. That definitely would be one that when off mic, like when we did our last recording, we were talking about forcing ourselves to listen to late period squeeze. I would like to.
I want to correct you for just a moment.
Okay,
I am not forced. Just so you know.
No, I was. Let's be clear.
Just Glenn Tilbrook, Chris Difford, if you're listening, I'm not the one who. I love late period squeeze, so I'm the one who's trying to convert everybody. I'm like, have you heard? Sure, you've heard the first 4 albums, but have you heard the stuff from the 90s and beyond?
But that's what I'm referring to. I don't want to. Yeah. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Glenn. I've insulted you yet again.
But no, you mean you want to like find your way into later period squeeze?
Yes,
the pleasures of the more mature, more relaxed, more deeply like melodic and self-assured squeeze. Sober Chris Difford.
Yes, I want to go beyond what throwaway tracks they put on the greatest hits comps, and I want to experience like sober Chris and cool Glenn.
Well, you've heard Some Fantastic Place, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because to me that's a shining example of their later period where it's this beautiful guitar solo, this kind of almost George Harrison sounding kind of track as far as like a la My Sweet Lord kind of spiritual sounding, and then just this ripping guitar solo down the middle.
So what you're saying is they went from being the new wave Lennon and McCartney, and they went to be cool George.
I think that if you read or listen to interviews with Glenn Tilbrook, he always talks about George being his favorite. He talks
George
about like
should be everybody's favorite.
Yeah, he talks about Blue Jay Way being a huge influence on him, and stuff like that. So, but welcome to What the Fork.
Hey,
I'm Jared.
I'm Jason.
And we're only 5 minutes in talking about...
Yeah, that isn't too bad.
Not for us, no. And we have no ad this week. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think I had more fun with the advertising than we should have.
But you know what?
Poor
If
Chris.
we have... I bet Chris enjoyed it. He actually asked that when I do the ads, that I do them as though, I were just slipping them into the show as something I would normally do. I'm like, okay, this is what we would normally do.
I was listening to... I caught up on my Marin this week and was listening to it, and I always think like those transitions to the ads that he does are natural, and they're not.
Not at all.
No.
I
I just finally picked up on it because you can hear like the timbre of his voice change.
Well, he'll be talking about like some deep, profound thing. He'll just have read an email about somebody who's talking about struggling with sobriety and how Marin helped him out or something like that, and then he'll be like,
Simply Safe.
So, yeah, exactly. So during your free time, what are you doing? New York Times crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
But
No.
yeah.
Take it from someone who's a clue.
All right, so Neil Finn won't be on the show. Mark Maron's not going to be on the show. Just keep it up, Jason. Knock him down. Okay.
Says the man who insulted Tiny Target
Yeah, but a Tiny Target's not going to sit in an interview chair.
and Stamps.com.
No, we didn't insult Stamps.com. I just said we weren't going to promote them until they gave us money.
That's true.
No free advertising.
So
Even though we just mentioned Simply Safe and the New York Times crossword puzzle app.
So I was thinking about bringing it back, doing the transition. So I discovered some things watching this episode this week.
Oh, before we get into the episode, though, let's talk about, we're in Phoenix Magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, February issue of Phoenix Magazine, which as newsstands go, it'll be replaced by March's issue next week. So, rush out and buy your Phoenix Magazine. We're there. I want to say it's on like page 39 or something like that. There's in the technology spot. There we are, mentioned. I think was a forking good time or something.
Yes.
And so that very appreciative of that. It was a lovely little write up. So thanks to Phoenix Magazine.
I was appreciative, and I had I'd been asked about it, but I didn't realize it was going to be in this month's issue, and I was pleasantly surprised as I'm looking through my own work, and I'm like, is that Janelle? And I'm like, is that Janelle's design? Like,
and indeed,
what is this?
Yes. Am I being punked? That's always my first reaction to anything good that happens. Like, am I being punked?
And my dad wasn't, so we got the issue when my dad was in town. So not only like, do I have an article in Phoenix Magazine, like I'm actually me and you are in Phoenix Magazine. And I'm like, my dad's like terribly proud of me at this point.
Wow. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good. From what I'm to understand, he's always been proud of me.
Well, that must be nice.
Yeah. But like, it seemed like, I don't know, it seemed very, the pride just he seemed beaming when I was here.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
very cool.
So thanks, Phoenix Magazine, for making Dad proud of me.
There you go.
There we go.
So yes, let's talk about this week's episode.
So something I was thinking about. So speaking of that Phoenix Magazine, there was something I was thinking about how you and I are sort of been bonding throughout the last few months over.
Yeah, Fork Buddies roll deep.
Yes. And I was thinking that as far as male relationships goes in this show, there really aren't any strong ones.
Well, I guess I would argue that there aren't any, at least to the point that we're at, there aren't any strong relationships in the show.
It's always, they always break off in couple of the core four.
Yeah.
They always seem to always break off on couples, which kind of plays into this episode. This very fast in your face episode.
I love this episode, actually. I stopped taking notes because at some point I was just like, I would put time codes for everything.
Me too. I was like about to go 2 pages into notes. I like scribbled into margins. But like it's always, you think that at some point Chidi and Jason would bond at some point, but
there's nothing. And how can they bond though? Because Jason still says ethnics.
Yes.
So, ethnic studies. and
I just, I mean, not that it bothers me. It's not like I'm looking for, do like a bromance to happen.
Sure.
But it was just something that it kind of hit me like.
But is there though, watching this episode, and I think there are some moments that back me up here, is the strong male relationship in this between Michael and Jason.
Yes. Oh, snap. I see what you did there.
Yes, quite.
Yes. Because at that point, there's that point where Michael's like, fork it.
Yeah.
And he turns to Jason for advice. And,
right, yeah.
So
he just says, well, yeah, exactly. And I didn't realize, I think there are a couple of things this time around that I didn't notice initially. And I guess we can hit on them as we get through the episode here.
Yeah.
But one of them was, what was it? Oh, that Michael says farts. I missed that before. Or I caught it and started laughing and then forgot about it. But I was like, Michael says farts.
It comes at you fast, this episode. I was does. like, just the first 3 minutes is just insane.
It is.
I just, look at my notes. I just gave up because I couldn't keep up with it.
Well, then you know what? Let's just go through it.
So, but other thing I wanted to mention. So, Bamba John?
Yes.
The actor's name in real life is also named Bamba John.
Are you shitting me?
I shit you not, sir.
Wow.
No kidding. I just happened to
Bamba John is played by Bamba John?
Yes.
Wow.
So I just happened to catch that in the credits at the end, like guest stars, and then it's like Bamba John, so and so, and then Bamba John. I'm like, Bamba John's Bamba John.
That is mind blowing. Bamba John is Bamba John. Mind blown. All right. Well, no, I kind of propose that we go ahead and treat this almost as a commentary track, because there's a lot of this in here that's very visual. And if you're, if we were to, I don't know. So I'm just going to hit play because Michael's opening is great. And my first time code is at 1:20 anyway. So why not just, head straight into it. And as it finishes loading, vamping just a little bit, it was queued up, and then there we go.
This is Daily Notes log for attempt number 3 of my neighborhood experiment. Obviously, I hope and assume this will be the final version. No, I know it will be. All the kinks have been worked out. This is the one. And after I pull this off, they're going to hang my picture in the Bad Place Hall of Fame right next to the guy who invented bees with teeth.
Okay, so the bees with
so
teeth.
Giddy.
He's so, yeah. I like to think that that's a little nod to The Simpsons. I think that, have you seen the episode with where Homer goes to Burns' estate, or at least one of the times? Anyway, it's the one where Homer says, "What are you going to release? You're going to release the dogs with the bees in their mouth, and when they bark at you, they shoot bees at you?"
Yes, okay. I have seen this. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed that whenever you bring a Simpsons reference, it's actually an episode that I've seen. Because I haven't watched, and it's not because I don't like The Simpsons, it's just I haven't watched it in so long. And I'm still on my Frasier. If
there were not, the thing is that there's so much Simpsons out there at this point. And if there were not also probably, I'm sure, hundreds of podcasts on